Welcome to this month's DIY Crafternoon. We are making feather tree decorations for the holidays. I have started it a little bit because it's a little bit of a putsy craft. If you were not able to make the in-person program and you came and picked up your craft kit here at the library, you will have gotten a foam tree or cone form. You will have gotten feathers and then a little container of tacky glue. So what you'll need to provide, I would say get yourself some scissors, and then if you have a paintbrush or if you have one of these sponge brushes, they work best because you're going to need to apply the glue to the cone to glue the feathers on. So I have started my first layer of feathers at the bottom here. So I'm just going to demonstrate how I've applied them. So I just put the glue on a piece of paper because I'm lazy and I didn't want to waste a cup. So I just put it on paper and I'm applying it with my sponge, and I am putting the glue on the cone or the tree foam cone. And I'm doing it, I don't know, about, what is that, maybe 3/4 or a fourth of the way up the tree, because you're going to be applying the feathers so that when their natural curve kind of comes down right at the bottom of your tree, if that makes sense. So for the bottom layer, I would look for some of the longest feathers you have and the feathers that you got in your kit. Those are going to work best, and save the small ones for later. So then I'm going to apply the feather to the glue. And as you can see, I do put that feather pretty far up, but that way then the natural curve kind of comes out right at the bottom of the tree. And I do hold it for just a little bit so that it sticks nicely. And then I move on to my next one. Some feathers are really large and they have a long top. So what I was doing was cutting the top off. That's why I said you should probably grab a pair of scissors. And you overlap the feathers just a little bit. And it might be helpful to start your feathers out by size before you begin. I'm just using a big bag of feathers right now. You guys will have much more limited amount of feathers. Oops. If it won't stick, add more glue. You can even add it to the feather if you don't, like I don't have very much room to apply it to the tree foam. So I'm just gonna swipe it onto my feather and stick it on like that. If you were unable to get a craft kit, these foam trees you can find on Amazon. You can find them at Joann's. And the feathers, I had a hard time actually finding plain colored feathers. I had to buy these on Amazon. I couldn't find them at Joann's or Michael's. I did not check Hobby Lobby. And then if you don't have craft glue, Mod Podge would work perfectly well, I think. I mean, you could try Elmer's glue, but I don't think it would stick very well. And hot glue would not work with the styrofoam. So just an FYI. So I have my bottom layer done. So now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add some smaller feathers kind of in between in the next layer around. Now, because the stems kind of stick up further, I'm going to have to actually apply the glue right to the feather. But like I did before, I just put it on kind of the middle of the feather, I guess. The stem of the feather. I'm not sure what that technical term is for that, but okay. And then I'm going to stick it up a little bit higher in between the existing feathers, so we have a nice layer effect. And this is going to get a little messy with the glue in your fingers. But as you can see, again, we're just gluing that top part of the feather, and then the natural curve is curving out from the tree base. And then I'm just going to keep going around and around, putting the second layer of feathers in between our first layer, a little up above. Okay, so as you can see, I have done my layers all around the tree, almost to the top. So here we are at the top, and you want to try and find your littlest feathers for the top. And I have actually found it's easier to dip them in the glue as I've been working on this. If you like dip them a little bit and stick them on, we're getting close to the top. And as I was doing this and going around, I was kind of also paying attention to like, oh, is there like a hole somewhere? Do I need an extra feather? And then I would just kind of put some glue on it and stick it up in there where I thought there was maybe a little bit of a hole, because we want it to look nice and full. And sometimes I was about to put a feather on that's too big for this spot, so I took it off really quick and grabbed a smaller one. So you have to be a little patient. And see, I'm seeing a bit of a hole here, so I'm going to fill that in. Getting very close to the top here. As you can see, I'm gonna find some more little feathers. So the top is going to be a bit tricky. I don't want anyone to really see the top of our tree, right? So kind of put your feather a little bit higher than the top of your tree, and that way the feathers are going to kind of hide that cone shape. It's going to be hard for me to kind of pick this up and show you, but I'm going to try. So you can see I kind of hid that by putting them up a little higher. So if you want to do just one small, very small, maybe just a few feathers above your last level, above your last time around, and have them meet at the top to form a peak that'll cover up the top of our foam and give it a nice little peak. And there you have it. There is the feather tree. It's a little putsy. My hands are full of glue, but it looks just as good as the stuff you buy in the store. So I hope you guys enjoy making this, and I hope it makes your house really beautiful for the holidays. Next month in January, we'll be making woven bookmarks. So we're going to learn a bit of very beginner weaving. And that is on the second Wednesday of January. So every second Wednesday of the month. And kits are available the first Wednesday of the month if you are unable to make it in person. If you can make it in person, please go to our website and register for that in-person class, which is also the second Wednesday of the month at 12:30. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday and happy crafting.